Well, 49er fans, it's been a couple days since my last video and nothing has gotten any better, and you could argue things have gotten worse. What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. The Seth Floyd Show. I'm your host, Seth Floyd Hansen, talking all things 49ers and whatever else I feel like. Guys, when I hit record on this video, we were 359 subscribers. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. If you're new here, please hit subscribe. That helps me get closer to my long-term goals. I'd love to do this full-time someday. I'm enjoying the ride, but every subscription helps. Like the video, share it with your friends, all that good stuff. Okay, I appreciate you. Please hit subscribe. Please. Things have been getting weird. Things are getting weird. I think we were all bummed Joey Bosa didn't show up, but I mean, that's a pretty big deal that Buffalo gave him. 1 year, $12 million. I think $12 million guaranteed, but could be up to $15 million. Niners weren't going to pay that. And I mean, look, before he signs, we all talk ourselves into like, oh, he could be healthy, he could be healthy, he could be healthy. And then after he signs, you do kind of realize like, man, the chances of him playing 17 games was not super high. So whatever, it's a bummer. But listen, Joey Bosa wasn't going to fix the whole defensive line. What else am I bummed about? I mean, I thought we'd be in on Jonathan Allen, and then he got a crazy deal from Minnesota. He's making like $20 million a year. We were not going to be in on Jonathan Allen. I'm sure they called, and it was very quick that he was going to be out of our price range. So I want to talk about what the narrative is right now in the national media, which is the 49ers are rebuilding. And I'm here to tell you, 49er fans, they're not rebuilding. And here, I'll tell you why, okay? I'm not saying they're going to be great this year. Nay, they might not even be that good. You really got to see how it all plays out. They're going to keep making free agency moves. They've signed a few people, okay, low-level guys, I understand. They're going to keep making some moves, but it's all about the draft. It's the two things that it's going to be for the 49ers this year is all about the draft. They have 11 draft picks as of right now. Could make some trades. And can they stay healthy? If they can stay healthy, it's going to be a decent year simply because the schedule is so easy. And I just believe in most of the guys that they have. Now, the one concerning thing is the defensive line. But I imagine in this draft that is loaded with defensive linemen, they can find a couple guys that know it's not ideal to lean on rookies that much, but that's what they're going to have to do. And they're going to make some plays, they're going to make some mistakes. That's what good rookies do. They're going to make some mistakes. Here's why they're not rebuilding. This is why the national media is wrong. If the 49ers were rebuilding, it would look different. What I mean is it would not be like, rebuilding is not letting go fringe guys, letting go backups, like looking at you, Elijah Mitchell, Jalen Moore. It wouldn't be letting go your very average guard, Aaron Banks, who makes them $20 million a year somewhere else on the open market. Okay, we weren't rebuilding when we let Mike McGlinchey go. We just kind of knew the market. So guards are pretty replaceable. This guy's not worth that much. You're not rebuilding if you try to keep Dre Greenlaw, and yes, you don't pay as much money as you would have in the past. If Dre Greenlaw had been a free agent last offseason, they would have re-signed him. It's kind of unfortunate that this is all kind of happening now. You wouldn't. It's not a rebuild if you let Hufanga go when you know you have a rookie who plays strong safety who looked great last year and probably can do what Hufanga did, if not very close. And he's much cheaper, and there's no point in bringing him back when you have Malik Mustafa. Like, that's not a rebuilding kind of move. What a rebuilding kind of move would be is trading away Trent Williams, trying to trade away Fred Warner, trying to trade away Nick Bosa, okay, trying to trade away Christian McCaffrey. Those are rebuilding moves. Those are, look, we just need as many draft picks as we can. Okay, we're going to offload some of these older players that even though they're the heart and soul of our team, we're going to get rid of them and just completely tear this thing down and get as many draft picks as we can. You're not rebuilding if you're going to hold on to guys like Trent Williams. Trent Williams would be a perfect one to trade because of his age. He has so much value still because even though he's old, I'm telling you, people are trading for Trent Williams. Okay, Fred Warner is the best middle linebacker in the league. Okay. You could probably get a first-round pick for Fred Warner. For sure a second-round pick. Probably a first-rounder, like a mid-20s first-rounder. I don't know. The linebacker position has been devalued quite a bit over the last decade. But Fred Warner has continuously been kind of viewed as the best linebacker in the league. I mean, you could trade Nick Bosa, who's a top 5 pass rusher in the league. I know his numbers haven't backed it up, but people view him as an incredible piece, okay? And they're not trading any of these guys, okay? If it was a true rebuild in my mind, they would be shopping those guys. Now, the reports have been, they are not even reports, okay? If it was Ian Rappaport or Schefter or someone on the McAfee show said, I think they would listen to trades on just about anybody. That's a lot different than shopping people, okay? That's a lot different than shopping people. I'm just going to say that, okay? He's speculating too. He's not saying, I'm hearing reports that they want to trade everybody. He's saying, I would imagine they'd listen to trade offers on anybody. Well, John Lynch has said that since day one, essentially. Like, they've made jokes that, or Shanahan made jokes that I think Lynch would trade me if he got the right offer. Like, they listen on everybody. So, like, I never took that to mean they're wanting to trade people, okay? So that, to me, is why I don't think it's rebuild. Again, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying they're going to be great this year. I don't know. My confidence in them being good this year is, like, with each day, it's, like, getting a little lower and lower as it just, the vibes don't feel good right now. But I don't think in their minds this is a rebuild. In their minds, they are just trimming the fat as best they can from players that haven't been as productive / you're getting outpriced in free agency. And good teams, guys, good teams don't overpay in free agency. I went over this in the last video. Anyone who's watched a good amount of the NFL pays attention to the offseason. Generally, the teams that spend like crazy in free agency do not do as well because they don't live up to the cap. So, like, or maybe they'll play decent this year, they'll play well this year, all these guys they add, and then the next year or two it tails off and they can't do anything because they've signed these big contracts. It's kind of what the 49ers have gone through. Committed a lot of money to guys that did not live up to their contracts, and now you're trying to offload it. That's what they're trying to do. They don't view it as a rebuild because they believe in Brock Purdy. Now, a lot of you don't believe in Brock Purdy. That's fine. That is your opinion. I believe in Brock Purdy, but I don't blame you for not believing in him. So in their eyes, they're like, we have the quarterback, we have a franchise left tackle. Like, yes, he's old, but he's still better than 80% of the other tackles out there. We have best middle linebacker in the league. We have a top 5-6 pass rusher in the league. Okay, Diamador Lenore is an ascending player. We have Christian McCaffrey. We have George Kittle, who's probably the best tight end in the league. These are the guys you would be trading away if you had no hope, but they are not trading them away. Now, I'm going to say something controversial here, 49er fans. You are not going to like this. I don't think. But actually, I think more of you, I bet there's more of you who would agree with me if every 49er fan listened to this. I bet if I took a poll. Tell me in the comments. Tell me what you think about this next statement. While I don't think they're rebuilding, I do think they should explore trading Christian McCaffrey. Alarm bells, people yelling at me. There's an old Bill Walsh saying, and this is what happened when they traded away Joe Montana. I don't know what the exact saying is, but essentially the concept is if you're going to get rid of a guy, it's better to get rid of him a year too early rather than a year too late, okay? It's why they got rid of Debo. I mean, you could argue you got rid of Debo a year too late. I kind of feel like we did. I'm not losing sleep. By the way, national media, no 49er fan is losing sleep over trading Debo, just from a football standpoint. Maybe from the nostalgia standpoint, he was like my favorite player these last handful of years, but from production, what I expect from him, I'm not losing sleep over losing Debo. Now, does Christian have a good year in him? I don't know. We know last year was terrible with the injuries with the tendonitis in his Achilles. And I think it's pretty hard to expect Christian to be healthy all year. In fact, I don't think he's going to be healthy all year. In fact, I think the 49ers are going to use a 3rd or 4th round draft pick on a guy that they really like, that they feel like could potentially take over. Now, that might be done because you've got Jordan Mason. I love Jordan Mason. He's not as versatile as Christian, but he actually catches the ball better than you think. He's had trouble staying healthy too. I don't think Isaac Guerrero what I'm trying to say. He's like a good running back. I would not just hand over the keys to him. He's in the committee at best. I wouldn't just hand him the keys. I think there's such a deep running back class that they would almost be dumb not to take a chance on one of these guys. I'm not saying Genty. I'm not saying Hampton. I'm not saying Trayvon Henderson or Judkins. I'm not saying one of those guys, but like, I mean, I love Scatterboo. I don't know if he's like a true running back. Maybe he's like a Kyle Juszczyk replacement. But there's got to be someone here that you feel really good about. I don't know, whatever. The point is I think there's contenders out there that would trade for Christian McCaffrey and give you decent back. Could you get a second round pick for him? That might be a little steep. Could you get a third and a fifth for him? Probably. I would think you could get a third and a fifth round pick for Christian McCaffrey. I think there's a team that might give you a second round pick, like a team that's contending and doesn't have a high second round pick. So, like, what are those teams? Like the Broncos? Broncos would be all in on him. They've been as aggressive as anybody this offseason. They need a running back. I think you could maybe talk the Broncos into a second round pick, maybe a third and a fifth, maybe a third and a future third, like something like that would be really beneficial. The Steelers might be interested in him. The Chiefs definitely would be interested in him. I don't know if you could trade him to the Chiefs. I don't know how I'd feel about that. But their second round pick is so late, they'd probably give you a second round pick for Christian McCaffrey. I'm not saying I love that idea, but it would be really tempting. And I almost feel like, I'm not saying give him away, but I'd almost test it a little bit. The problem is, if you're going to test it, it's going to get out and then you got to trade him. I think that testing the market and then not trading him would be a bad sign, would be a bad deal. But I would be interested. The Commanders, who's the Commanders? Oh, they have Brian Robinson. Whatever. I'm sure they'd rather have CMC. They would be a good one too. I think that's might not be, and I don't think if you do that, you're rebuilding. I know Christian is incredible, but it's better to get rid of guys a year too early than as a year too late. Because I got news for you, 49er fans. It sucks. He is, you are not, when you go into 2026, you are not, I can't imagine you're viewing Christian McCaffrey as like the guy. We all assumed he was last year. Crazy injury came up. We are all assuming that he had so much time off this year that he can give you one last round in 2025 of like pretty good, solid production. He's not going to be what he was in 2023, but maybe like 80 to 85% of what he was, which would be incredible. But going into 2026, you will not view him that way, and the rest of the league will not view him that way. So I think it might behoove you to trade him. I would be very pro that if you got the right compensation. I'm not saying trade him for a fifth round pick, not even a fourth round pick. I would think a third and a fifth would be what I would want. A third and a fourth, if you could get it. Third and a fifth I would be interested in that. Or a second round pick. Like that's what I would be. If I could get a contender to give me that, I would want to pull the trigger, I think, because running backs are easier to replace. You're not replacing Christian McCaffrey fully. I get that, but he's not, in 2026, he's not going to be the guy. He's like going to be on the team and he'll be the first guy out, but you can't expect him to stay healthy, I don't think. And he's probably going to be in a committee with whoever they draft this year, or maybe it's just Jordan Mason, but it'll be much more of a committee sense. And so if you could get something for him now, I would. So when I heard, so Ryan Clark on ESPN, whatever, he was saying, why aren't they trading Christian McCaffrey since this is a total rebuild? First, I was like upset because I'm like, it's not a rebuild, obviously, because they're not trading these other guys. I don't think it's a rebuild. But then I thought more about what he said about Christian McCaffrey, and I was like, man, it is better to get rid of a guy a year too early rather than a year too late. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Christian's the guy. I think he's the guy this year. We're going to lean into him this year and hope he does great. We're paying him a lot of money, so hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully that Achilles nonsense is all taken care of. I know that his dad, Ed McCaffrey, said something about how now he feels great, he feels 100%. So let's hope that's real and hope it stays that way. But regardless, 49er fans, let's just keep hanging on. Oh, last thing I wanted to say. I really hope they are interested, and I don't know that they will be, but I really would love for them to be interested in Garrett Bradbury. The Vikings are either going to trade him or release him. His cap hit, his cap hit, and his contract owed is so small right now. It's like his cap hit is like $5 million. I think that's like what he's owed this year. I was looking at his contract earlier. I can't remember as well as at work. I was looking it up, and like he would be a huge upgrade over Jake Brendel. The problem is, I think they truly think Jake Brendel can become what he was in 2023. So I don't think they're going to be interested in Garrett Bradbury. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they surprise me. And the truth is, we need to sign defensive linemen more than we need a center, because at least we've seen Jake Brendel do it a year and a half ago in 2023. We've not seen any of these guys on the defensive line do anything, much of anything. Gosh, the other guy from the Giants, Aziz Al-Jawari. Gosh, I can't say it. Guys, when I read that name on Twitter or whatever, it's just blah, 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 blah. Because I can't read it. My brain just like malfunctions. But you know what I'm talking about. The pass rusher from the Giants. Apparently we've been in touch with him. He would be that would be a signing that would make me feel really good. If you signed him and Garrett Bradbury, even if you had to trade, I don't know what you would trade for him. A 5th round pick, or a 6th round pick. Yeah, I wouldn't do a 5th. Like a 6th round pick for him. Like you did that and you signed Al-Jawari. I know I'm saying it wrong. You feel free to roast me in the comments because I can't say it right. Then I would feel a lot better. Like about the free agency class, you'd be like, okay, we got a couple guys that are like impact guys that improve the trenches, and we can look into the draft and hopefully, add to it. But we'll see what happens. We will see what happens, 49er fans. That's all I got. We're not in a rebuild. I'd probably trade Christian McCaffrey. Bring me Garrett Bradbury. Bring me Aziz Al-Jawari. Can't say his name, but he's a great pass rusher. If you're watching this video, Al-Jawari, I apologize. Welcome. Come onto the show and you can tell everyone how to correctly pronounce your name. If you're still here and you haven't, please hit subscribe. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers by September, by the opening week 1 the NFL. That would be incredible. And every single subscribe counts. It helps. So thank you for being here. That's all I got for you, Niner fans. Just hang on. It's gonna be okay. I think hopefully we're through like the rock bottom part, and we can kind of just start stacking like little positive days up until the draft. But we'll see. That's probably not gonna happen. It's just 49er football. We're in our off season. Always equals drama, headlines, people judging you, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But either way, it doesn't matter. Faithful to the end. I don't have any paper. I think I'm done with the paper. We'll see what happens. But either way, go Niners.